In May 2025, the internet fell in love with a man named Ernesto.
My name is Ernesto. I'm 54 years old. I used to build homes for other families. I didn't have much, but I had a wife and a son. And for me, that was everything.
He was a 54-year-old carpenter who'd lost everything: his home, his family, his sense of purpose. He stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage with nothing but his voice and a last-ditch hope. His performance brought judges and millions of viewers to tears. His story of heartbreak went viral and became a beacon of hope for people all over the world. But what if the man who made the world weep never even existed? What if the story that captured millions of hearts was just a perfectly engineered lie, crafted not by a human, but by an algorithm? This is the wild story of how AI created the perfect viral deception and why every single one of us fell for it. Welcome to NextCore AI, your front row seat to the future. We create jaw-dropping, high-retention videos on the most explosive topics in AI, and today we're diving into a story that perfectly captures the ethical chaos and deceptive power of these new tools. Section 1. The Anatomy of a Viral Moment. Ernesto's story was basically perfect television. It popped up on TikTok and YouTube in May 2025, cut into these short, emotionally charged clips. The story was instantly gripping. We meet Ernesto, a humble 54-year-old carpenter. He tells the world his life was hard, but he didn't mind because he had his wife and son.
I worked long days, sometimes nights, skipped meals, sold tools, anything just to make sure my son could finish his education.
He'd skip meals and work brutal overtime just to get his son through college. Then the story takes a gut-wrenching turn. Right after his son graduated, his wife grew distant, his son got busy, and then one day, they were both just gone.
I'm not here to chase trophies. I'm not here to be famous. I'm just here to sing one song. For him, because he's still the most important part of my life. So this is my song for him.
No goodbye, nothing. Ernesto lost his house, his purpose, and ended up on the streets, totally forgotten. His only hope was that if he sang on that huge stage, maybe his family would hear his voice and remember the man who never, ever stopped loving them. And when he opened his mouth to sing,
I used to wake before the sun. Hands were tired, work undone. Built a life with quiet dreams.
The performance was just soul-shaking. A deep, booming baritone voice filled the entire room, singing a song about loss called Still Waiting at the Door. The lyrics were devastating. I built our home with bleeding hands, laid each brick with love and plans. Now I just talk to an empty sky. The camera kept cutting to the judges with tears just welling in their eyes. It showed people in the audience completely captivated. And of course, the performance ended with a massive standing ovation. The internet did exactly what you'd think it would do. The clips just exploded. Views shot up into the tens of millions. The comment sections were an absolute flood of emotion. I never thought AI would bring such emotion, one person wrote, while thousands of others shared their own stories of loss, seeing a piece of themselves in Ernesto. He was the underdog we all desperately wanted to root for. It was a beautiful story, and it was 100% fake. Section 2, the investigation, cracks in the facade. For the millions who shared and cried for Ernesto, the story felt completely real. But for a handful of internet detectives and skeptics, something just felt off. The videos were so emotionally perfect that they almost seemed like they were cooked up in a lab specifically to go viral. And when people started to look a little closer, the cracks started to show. The first big red flag was the judging panel. People with sharp eyes noticed something really weird. There were more than 4 judges, and some of them had never even been on America's Got Talent. The videos seemed to be a bizarre mashup of judges from the US and UK versions of the show, with people like Nick Grimshaw and David Walliams, who have nothing to do with the American show. The judges' reactions, while emotional, didn't always seem to line up perfectly with what was happening on stage. Then you have Ernesto himself. When you looked really closely, he had this strange, fuzzy outline. His movements were a little jerky and unnatural, and he didn't have the subtle weight of a real person standing on a stage. People pointed out that his skin looked way too smooth for a man of his age who worked with his hands. These are all classic telltale signs of an AI-generated deepfake, a digital ghost in the machine. The mystery got even deeper when people tried to find any official record of his audition. There was nothing, no press releases from AGT, no mention on their website, no news coverage at all outside of these viral clips. A contestant this popular would have been a huge marketing win for the show, but from any official source, there was just silence. It was like Ernesto appeared out of thin air and then vanished just as quickly. Section 3, the reveal, the man who wasn't there. The truth didn't come out with a big expose, but with a whisper. It was hidden in the fine print. The YouTube account that first posted the videos, AGT vs. AI, had a disclaimer buried deep in the video descriptions. It read, "Some visuals and audio have been altered or enhanced using AI tools. The scenarios presented are fictional and intended solely for entertainment. This is not real footage and should not be interpreted as fact." Other videos on TikTok and YouTube had similar warnings, admitting the stories were AI-generated fiction. Fact-checking sites like Snopes jumped on it and quickly confirmed that Ernesto was a fake. Even Fremantle, the company that produces AGT, came out and stated the audition wasn't real. Section 4, the explanation. How to manufacture a viral lie. So how do you actually build a person from scratch and convince millions he's real? The Ernesto case is a masterclass in how modern AI deception works. First, you need the character. Ernesto wasn't just a face, he was a story. The creators used a classic story that everyone understands. The hardworking man who loses everything and is looking for a second chance. This story wasn't random. It was designed to tap right into basic human emotions like empathy, hope, and sadness. AI systems can sift through millions of stories from movies to books to figure out which storylines get the biggest emotional reaction. Ernesto's backstory was the perfect bait. Then there's the voice and the song. AI voice cloning tech can create a synthetic voice that sounds incredibly human and full of emotion. The song, Still Waiting at the Door, with its heartbreaking lyrics, was also likely written with help from AI, engineered to be as moving as possible. Finally, the distribution. The creators unleashed Ernesto on platforms like TikTok and YouTube, whose algorithms are built to do one thing: get you hooked. An emotionally charged video that gets tons of likes, comments, and shares is like rocket fuel for these platforms. The algorithm saw people reacting to Ernesto, so it pushed the video to millions more. This created a powerful viral feedback loop that spread the lie across the entire world in just a few days. It was a perfect storm of emotional bait and algorithmic power. Section 5. The psychology. Why we wanted to believe. The tech is only half of the story. The other half is us. Why were we so easily fooled? Well, it really comes down to the psychology of belief. One person wrote, "I never thought AI would bring such emotion," while another said, "Not bad for AI." It seems like the emotional payoff was more important than whether or not it was real. We're just hungry for stories that make us feel something good, even if that feeling is built on a lie. The story of Ernesto isn't just some clever internet hoax. It's a huge warning sign for our future. We're now in an era where AI can create fiction that feels more real and compelling than reality itself. It can build characters we fall in love with and stories we cry over, all of it perfectly tailored by algorithms to slip past our brains and hit us right in the heart. Here at NextCore AI, we cover these dark AI ethics and risks every single week, because this case study shows just how vulnerable we are to being emotionally manipulated on a massive scale. Ernesto wasn't real, but the feelings he created definitely were. He's a ghost in the machine who held up a mirror to all of us, showing both our incredible ability to feel for others and our deep vulnerability to being fooled. The biggest question he leaves us with is this: if an AI can make a fake person that makes us feel real emotions, what does that mean for the future of real human stories? What do you think? Did Ernesto's story get to you before you knew the truth? And what can we all do to become smarter about the media we consume in the age of AI? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're ready for more deep dives into AI wars, workforce disruption, and the insanity of it all, hit subscribe and join our viewers staying one step ahead of the machines right here on NextCore AI.